Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hungry for More. I'm Jennifer, and this is Robin. And today we are going to talk about something that I think might already have crossed your mind or been on your mind. And we're going to talk about eating, holiday mindset around eating. That's the holiday prep we want to do for the holidays. It's not all this prep of food right now. We tend to, or past gen tended to, when Halloween came, is when it started. And then the festivities and the eating didn't end until after New Year's. And that's when I would always start my new diet, whatever that was, I'd gear up for it. But I live what I thought was so well in those 2 months, just eating and doing whatever I wanted. So I want everybody to think about that for a minute. What does past you, or maybe you're in that place right now? What does that look like for you? Have you ever been in that place where you're like, well, January's around the corner. I'm not going to worry about too much right now. It's a busy time of year. So I don't want to have to focus on that. I just want to focus on everything else. And then I'll get to me in January. Because we hear that a lot too, right? Like, I'm too busy. But then I would say to you, are you too busy to eat? Because everybody still needs to eat. And you can still have your conscious mind with you when you're eating, regardless of what you're eating. So that's what we want to talk to about that today. Robin, how was past you pre-conscious eating?
Yeah, just about the same thing. It got kicked off with Halloween. And man, I'd already gotten momentum there, just kind of plowing through everything. And then, just being like, well, we're going to go into the holidays. It's too busy. It's too complicated to try to focus on this for me. Let's just resume at the end. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the holidays,
don't want to be
right?
Restricted.
Yes. And so we have those mindsets that have like just everything out the window. And so what we want for you guys is exactly that. We want you to enjoy the holidays. We want you to not feel restricted. We want you to simplify things and let go of certain things so you can focus on what you need to focus on. But it doesn't require you saying to yourself and to your body, remember, we are not our bodies, we're in relationship to it. The old mindset that you and I lived in was, hey, body, you're going to have, I'm busy and I want to have fun. And I don't want to have to really deal with you. So I need you to just go to the corner these next few months and I'll turn to you at the new year and we'll go hard. Right. And there's something aside from how that impacts our weight. That's like just the first outer layer. But that mindset really does have us disassociating from ourselves. It has us running ourselves ragged. It has us not taking care of our needs or even being in tune with even other needs that are being expressed to us. Because remember, all needs are expressed to us through the body. And when we've set it aside saying, don't have time for you, I just want to have fun. I don't want to feel like you're limiting me because of the goals I have with you. So go over there, see you in January, and then I'm going to come hard after you.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
you be ready because when January comes, whoa.
then I'm going to get you and I'm going to go hard and fast and talk about restriction and stuff. Right. So we want that for you guys. And we recognize that some of you are, maybe you are doing things that are pretty time consuming. Maybe you've been following a program of some sort where you're measuring food and you're weighing food and you're tracking things. Maybe you're inputting stuff into an app or writing it down, or maybe you've completely revamped your recipes and you've found different substitutions and things like that. And you have to really meal plan and whatever to keep yourself going. And it's just more time consuming. So how do we balance that where maybe you are doing things that you're like, okay, but I really don't think I do have time to maintain the level of attention and time. So how do we work with both and maybe release some of the pressure around some of those things without saying, hey, body, take the corner, see you in January,
Right. Right. And, you make an interesting point because we have a lot of people that listen to these podcasts or follow us in our group or that we are coaching currently that eat different ways. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So conscious eating works with all of that. So if you prefer to measure your food because that's what you prefer to do, great, make it work with that. That's not what we're talking about. We're not even talking about, like you talked about, substitutions. Like there's so many different things you can do there. But how do you keep, so I think what we need to address is how do you keep, you go, let's say it's Thanksgiving Day, okay? You're baking leading up to Thanksgiving Day, and then Thanksgiving Day comes, and then you have all this food still around. Tell everybody how you stay conscious in those moments because it can be challenging. And, well, let's start with there.
Okay. Yeah. So So entering into that, let's say that you really have decided that for the holidays, you're not going to be so worried about tracking and weighing, measuring, and you're not going to be so strict about all your substitutions. You can do that. Those are actually good things to maybe let go of. That's a start. And be conscious. So this is what it looks like that day. So a conscious eater eats in response to the need of the body being hunger, which means I want to be paying attention as I'm prepping things, that I'm not just mindlessly putting food in my mouth and tasting and dipping and all that, because I want to be hungry when it's time to eat. Right. And
Right.
how many times in just regular meal preparations do we kind of tend to do that? And by the time dinner comes or the feast comes, you're really not that hungry, but it's like I'm going to miss out on it. Of course I'm going to eat, that's what I've been cooking for all day. So come to the meal hungry. Do what you need to do on that. Again, it doesn't matter what method you eat or what you've chosen to prepare. Come to your meal hungry. So be mindful on the front end with preparation. And then when it's time to eat, a conscious eater knows that, okay, my body is the authority here, and my body will tell me when I'm done, right? I have a hormone called leptin that's going to tell me, thank you, delicious, I'm done. And a conscious eater is committed to meeting that need of the body when it says stop. And so knowing that I'm going to stop eating when I'm satisfied, I'm going to be mindful of that and the choices I make. What's really important to me? Like, what's really important that I make sure I eat? And then it's not like, oh, shoot, I just ate this part, but that really is my favorite thing. And now I'm too full, but I have to have it because it's my favorite thing. So
Right.
look at the spread, look at the feast. What's really important, prioritize those things so that they're part of what's filling that empty stomach to fullness. And then, yeah, be committed to that body. And again, this is different. This is rather than saying, hey, it's a feast today, body, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't even want to see you. Like, go over there. I'm going to do what I want. Right. That's kind of the attitude we have. What if we both get what we want? What if both of us are taken care of here, right? And it can be that win-win where nobody has to be put in the corner. Nobody has to be, punished, kind of. Like, think about the back end of just doing that and overfilling and feeling miserable. So those are beautiful principles to take in, no matter what's being served at the table and what you want.
Just kind of is like, I liked your thing, when you say, look at the whole spread, because so often for us, we set it up buffet style. There's just too many people to have it at our table, passing it around.
Right.
But it's like, what's there? What do I really want? And you're right, prioritizing that. And I oftentimes too, I still like to start with my proteins and veggies and all of that first, because it's a little bit easier on the insulin. So I'm not even talking from a weight loss perspective. I'm saying, you guys have seen Thanksgiving dinner where everybody's just out cold after they eat, right? Now it's nap time.
The coma.
I find that if I eat my veggies and my proteins and my fats first, and then I follow it with, like, I love stuffing, I just do. I follow it with that type of stuff. It does not affect me like that, because you're still listening to your body. And you're still eating just until fullness. And you're
still getting what you want.
Yes, you're still getting what you want in. And it's not this mad dash of, like, filling, and then all of a sudden you're so overfull, you got to go lay down for a few hours. So, and you know what? And it's not even just physically, mentally, you feel so much better at the end of that. So it's not restricting. It's not saying no. It's saying, yeah, I can have it. I'll have some of this, maybe I'll have a little bit of this. And I oftentimes too like to fit my dessert into that. Now on Thanksgiving, it's a little tricky for us because sometimes dessert doesn't come out for a few more hours. So if that is the case with myself, I will not eat it if I'm super full. I'll wait
until I am right. Or again, this is what you can work with, and it's all in your authority. If I know that, and we all have our traditions, we can kind of, if we're doing the regular thing, we kind of know when the pie is coming, right? If it's not served with dinner, usually, it comes a couple hours later or whatever. But when you eat the meal and say, it's probably going to come in another hour, you can eat your meal with the intention as if I'm about to come eat dessert right now and save some room for that. So in the hour when it comes out, you have the space for that slice of pie, right? And so, and it's working with that. Or if you're going to fully satisfy at the feast, then you do. It's like, pie is coming, and regardless when it's served, I'll wait until I'm hungry for, to enjoy it and not feel like you're just kind of cramming it in and layering it on top.
Right. Nope. That's exactly what it is. And I love it. And, we were just talking about Thanksgiving because that is the next holiday we have coming, but then we're leading into December where we have holiday parties. Like, I have regular things that I have to attend. And then Christmas baking, right? All of this stuff, which I love. I have told the story in the past before of, I will never forget this Christmas. I think I had 6 little kids under age 9. And it was Christmas and I had just had a baby. I don't know. She was born in September. So just a few months before. So I was feeling a little bit like puffy, we'll say.
Yeah, trying to lose it. Yeah.
And I remember that year I made the decision. I said, well, I just can't bake this year. Like I would always deliver baked goods to everybody. They loved it at Christmas. And I just didn't. I omitted it because I was like, I can't bake because I'll just eat it all. And I was already really down on myself and really not feeling good. And it was such a sad Christmas to me because I find such pleasure and joy in baking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I have never done that again. Boy, did I learn my lesson.
Yeah.
On the back end, just so you know, I probably baked after the holidays and still ate it all. It's not like it took care of that. It just opened a dam when I did bake because I had restricted from it all.
Right. And that's the thing, you know, our traditions with food and things are important and special to us, right? And it does, and that's the beauty of this is you don't have to, just because you have a goal, just because you want to be healthy and release weight, you do not have to just completely give those things up and give them away. And a lot of times we do that because we have lost a sense of trust with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But when you switch over to this mentality and to the conscious eating, that starts to get resolved because there is a reason we've lost trust with ourselves. We had these hard black and white rules and restrictions. And then when we break them, the mindset is just like, well, you know, the guilt comes in, the shame comes in, and then kind of feeling like that rebellious nature. And so we'd swing from these extremes. And so that did a lot with the relationship with ourselves and our sense of control. And this is where with conscious eating, there is room for those things and we're mindful and we're still making decisions that serve us, but we can work those things together and not feel like we shouldn't even go to the party. What's the point? I'm going to feel so left out and I'm not going to be eating like everybody else, or I'm just going to, you know, again, tell the body, see you in January, and I'm just going to go do whatever I want because I don't want to have to worry. There is that middle ground and there is a way to stay connected.
Right.
There's a way to stay mindful. There's a way to listen to the body and be in cooperation. And that really is that happy medium for us where we do feel satisfied. We do feel like we got what was important and special to us, but not at the expense of this body, that we're just overburdening the body and truthfully feeling pain and feeling yucky and feeling low energy.
Yeah.
So that middle way really is, you know, that ideal sweet spot, and it's conscious eating that provides that.
Right. And I wanted to add another thing too, because being a conscious eater, still, if there's something you want, great, have it. But let's flip to the other side, because I still, for the most part, I will have little treats here and there and I'll pick little things, but for the most part, I still like to get my nutrient dense food.
Yeah.
So one thing that I do, especially if it's a potluck or especially if I'm hosting it, then you have control over everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm going somewhere. I do still like to bring some options if it's a potluck, right? I still like to bring options that have those nutrients in it.
Yes.
It doesn't mean I don't partake of the other, but then I know that I'm going to have that there too.
Yeah.
It's not really, I mean, and there's some times where that doesn't work, right? I'm not going to show up at my husband's company dinner at a restaurant and bring some food in. Obviously, there are items on the menu I can choose, but I'm talking specifically like, you know, maybe I show up with a veggie tray. Maybe I show up with a meatier item or something, and that's okay. So we're not saying, oh, don't worry about all your healthy stuff and you can just have all these treats to stay conscious. I'm just saying there's a way to prepare for that. So
exactly. It's about what do you want? What's important to you? And yeah, in either scenario, we're saying, again, there's that middle ground. I love how my body feels when I give it the nutrients that a body prefers. Right. Cool. And that interacts with my body in a really good way. And it's still delicious. I still enjoy it. So yes, this is not about, hey, throw this out, go do this. But it is. And there's also nothing wrong. And I'm really glad you brought that up. There's nothing wrong with wanting to go and stick to those foods. Right. Because you want to, because it feels good, because you love the role that you're on right now, or that you know how certain foods interact with your body, even though they're special to this time of year. And so there's part of you that wants it, but you're like, but seriously, every time I eat that, I feel so crummy. You can make those decisions. You can say no. You can prefer and prioritize those things. And that is for me. You know, this first part of our program, it is a lot about that mindset and learning, listen to your body, meet your needs. And then the second portion, we have taught about the nutrition piece, where how foods interact with our body and that sort of thing. And because that's how I've eaten and prioritized my plate, my body loves that and counts on it. So yes, even at a feast, I am still just like loading up on those things that I love and know that my body prefers. But yes, I'm like, I only eat pecan pie on Thanksgiving because I'm usually not even around it, that sort of thing. Right. And and those are certain things that are a priority to me that I want to have. And I just make sure it fits within that foundation of conscious eating. It's beautiful.
Yep. It's amazing. Well, and I was going to add to that, if you do show up to an event, sorry, my eye is so itchy. If you do show up to an event and it's just all this stuff and there are no nutrients, you can still stay conscious. Do not throw it out the door and say, oh, this is all they have. So I'm going
they didn't have any healthy options. So yeah. So remember, guys, it's all about mindset. It really is. We think, our focus is so much on the right diet, the right method, the right amount, everything. It's the mindset that sponsors all of this. And we have been used to the diet culture mindset of all or nothing. And this is a switch. And so if I show up to something and there are no healthy choices and I show up ready to eat, I can totally work with that. And it's the mindset of like, I can take care of myself. I bring my body and I work together no matter where we go. And so I will, and I'm not scared and I'm not worried and I'm not feeling guilty for it. It just is, I took care of myself in the environment and circumstances I was in, but I didn't tell my body, hey, sorry, you're going to have to take one for the team. I'm going all in on this.
And this is awesome. And just like everything, if you go to an event that's like that, and maybe you're eating foods that you don't normally eat, it just means that the next time you eat the foods that you normally eat. Like you wait till you're hungry and you eat those foods. So Saturday night's party doesn't turn into this the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. So realistically, I mean, there's a couple days, right, during the month where maybe you're going off a little bit. It's when it rolls into the next. So you eat the next time you're hungry, and then you can choose your foods that time too.
Yeah. It's likely that the next time it's time to eat, you're in a different environment where you have different options and things that align better with how you want to and like to eat. And you just move on from there rather than like, well, since I already ate this for lunch and blew everything, let's just get everything we can in so that we can just start tomorrow. Those are the things that turn over and accumulate and cause problems and cause us to feel out of control. So
awesome.
Enjoy the holidays. Like if there are certain things with how you are eating and seeking to lose weight that you do need to kind of set aside and loosen up a little bit, do those things if it makes sense, right? But keep the mindset that I'm never too busy to be conscious when I'm eating. Like we were saying before we started recording, if you have time to eat, you have time to be conscious. And so maybe it's not looking like what you're used to or what you'd like to do on the food end, but on the conscious part and on the listening to the body. And you can keep that with you. And it doesn't take extra time, it just takes you paying attention when you're eating. So
absolutely.
What a relief.
Have the most peaceful, enjoyable holidays and come out the other side feeling like you were totally conscious and it's not I have to start after.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Good luck. You know, you got this.